just going to run through finding an angle. Now, I just want to make sure that you can put things into degrees and minutes. So if you basically end up with sine theta and it was equal to, say, 3 on 7, that was your opposite, that was the hypotenuse. To get the actual angle on your calculator, you need to press shift, sine, and then a little -1 will come up, and then 3 on 7 will come up. So theta ends up being sine the -1 of 3 on 7. Now when you put that into your calculator and press shift sine 3 on 7, press equals, you should get 25.3769. That's all in degrees, so it's like 25 degrees. But if you wanted to put that into degrees and minutes, you need to then press an additional button, and the button looks like this. That's your degree minute button. So it'll change this decimal 0.3769 to something that is out of 60. So when you press that straight out, you get 25 degrees. I've got 22 minutes, so the next one's minutes, and then 36.96 seconds. So if you want to cut that off, and you want it to just be to the nearest minute, you have to look at the 36.396. Now the 36, if you look at that 36, the 36 there, that's 30 or bigger. So therefore you have to round up, and you would add 1 to that next number there. So you have to add 1. So basically it will end up being 25 degrees, 23 minutes. If that later number was less than 30, then it would just stay as 25, 22. So for example, if it ended up being 48 degrees, 22 minutes, and you had 15 seconds, then the 15 there is, that 15 is less than 30. So it just stays the same, and to the nearest minute it would be 48 degrees, 22 minutes. You don't have to add 1. Okay, so let's just look at finding an angle. Now, finding an angle, first step is you have to identify if it's sine, cos, or tan. And you do that using the rule SOH CAH TOA. Okay, so we go SOH CAH TOA. So let's go here, opposite the angle, that's the opposite. On the arm, A for arm is the adjacent. Opposite the right angle, the big one, is the hypotenuse. Or think of hippopotamus, because hippos are big. So if you look at what we're actually given here, we're given the opposite, which is 4, and the adjacent, which is 7. So that means, let's just set it up, that would be tan, because it's O on A. SOH CAH TOA, so it's tan. So tan of the angle, and the angle's theta, equals 4, because that's the opposite, over the adjacent, which is 7, in that order. So now when you go to find theta, if you want to find an angle, you need to use your shift button. So you go shift, tan, and you get tan the -1, and that will give you your theta. So when you're getting your theta, what will your theta be? So you go shift, tan, and you go 4, 7, and you end up with 29.74488. Now, when you're looking at that, you have to ask yourself, what am I going to round off? So you've got to check what the rounding. If it's to the nearest degree, it will just be 30 degrees. Because if you look at the 7 next door, it's greater than 5, and this is in decimal form, so it's 5 and above. So it will round up, and you have to add 1. But if you're not given that, if you want to do it to the nearest minute instead, and you've got 33 degrees, 20.74488, you have to press this button, the degree and minute button. You get 29 degrees, 44 minutes and 41.57 seconds. Now, the cutoff is right there, if you want to do it to the nearest minute, because it goes degrees, the minutes. 41.97, that is 30 and greater. So therefore, what we need to do is you need to add 1, so you need to round up. So you need to, you add 1 to that 44 and you will get 29 degrees, 45 minutes. And that's how you'd find your angle.